Hey, good morning. Good morning to you all. Obviously, I come to you today with a heavy heart. I'm in Bend, Oregon at my father's place, so there's a bright spot. But look, yeah, and I introduced my dear friend Jeffrey to you earlier with the picture and all and the setup, but I want to share something with you. There's a reason why I'm doing this. I really believe that there's an importance here. I've known Jeff for 35 years. I met him when I was 25, so I'm 60. I met Jeff Murphy before I wanted to become an actor. I didn't even know I was going to be an actor. I was just bouncing around in my 20s. So he was part of my entire journey, from the time I announced it to people quietly, to then declaring it, to then going after it, to then building it. He came to every show I did in LA, every showcase, every stupid little play in little crappy little shitty theaters, every screening, as things started to grow and build, yeah, to anything like that. And then over the years, every show I brought to LA, he came to every single time. And he was my biggest fan and supporter. And one of the reasons why is because my life was the opposite of his in so many ways. And that's really what I want to talk about. And why I believe there's an important lesson here for all of us dreamers, all of us daring to step into, what it is that we believe our purpose is. Because Jeff did not do that. Jeff chased money his whole life. Now look, I want us all to be wildly, abundantly successful. I have a healthy relationship around money. It's not some money's evil deal. It's just that was his sole motivation. And the reason why is because it could buy him more things and validate him, because he had a huge hole in his heart. He didn't think he was enough at all. And he was driven by success, owning things, the nicest car, the nicest everything, because again, that equated that he was good, quote unquote. But the problem was that would never satisfy him, and he knew that. He did know that in his heart of hearts. And so when he would come to my shows, he enjoyed in LA. He enjoyed my play on Meisner enormously. But the thing he liked the most were the Q&As afterwards, where audience members got to experience what they experienced, and this give and take. And as we would drive home, every single time, he would just go on and on about how incredible it was, the impact the show's having, the impact that I'm blessed to have. And he kept saying to himself, now as we're getting older, let's say into our 50s, he just goes, shit, man, my life's been a waste. I've done nothing. I've accomplished nothing. And it's too late. It's too late. And I kept assuring him that it's not. But what he needs to do is quit trying to build the next, find the next idea that's going to make him a bunch of money, and instead try to figure out what you could do that would make you happy. Yeah. And so eventually what happened is Jeff, about 4 years ago, he lost everything through the 2008 situation. He had 2 homes in Hawaii, 2 homes in Palm Springs, a home in Hermosa Beach, all mortgaged to the hilt, all laid out there. And when everything crashed, he crashed. It was a house of cards waiting to fall, and it fell. And when it did, his marriage was unraveling. And all of a sudden, as he was about 60 years, he's about 3 or 4 years older than me. So at age 60, Jeff liquidated everything, sold everything, paid off all of his debt, and was left with about $500,000. And he headed off to Thailand to try to, as he said, have this late midlife crisis in hopes that it leads to something. But what it led to was, because I guess this is what I want to share. I want to share 2 things. Just the importance of filling that void inside of us where we don't feel like we're enough. Because Jeff had this beast that he could never satisfy. That no matter what he did, he wasn't good enough. He wasn't enough. And that's why it was such a tragic thing to watch. The arc of Jeff Murphy's life is the story of someone who never figured out what they were put on this earth to do, never had the courage to go after it, and never healed all the bullshit and pains and wounds of when he was a kid. His father was horrible. Here's a Jeff Murphy story, true story. All our students who are part of the newsletter watching this have heard this story because I teach off of it, not to, well, anyway. One morning, Jeff called me, phone rang really early, and he goes, hey, pal, hey, I got great news. I said, what? And he goes, my dad died last night. I mean, you think about that. What a thing to say. He meant it. He wasn't kidding. He meant it. That's how much he hated his father. His father was horrible. His father was cruel. His father was shitty. His father treated the mom horribly, the kids horribly, and especially Jeff. And Jeff hated him. And he never healed that shit. And it dominated his whole life. And he never was able to get past that to get to this next level of what I believe anyway we're here to do, because we all have our stuff, man. We all have our stuff. I won't even crack open what I'm really here in Ben to be dealing with right now, but it has to do with my father, and it's just horrible. Just shitty stuff here. So it's been quite a week, but anyway, that's not the point. The point is we all have our stuff. And our job is not only to transcend that stuff and play that hand as gracefully as possible, in my opinion, but I also believe that we are truly here to figure out why we're here and go after it so that you don't lead a life of regret. Jeff Murphy died in Thailand in a crappy little room with a hooker and drugs and a heart attack. And actually probably more. Anyway, again, that doesn't matter. Isn't it sad that he might have been killed and it doesn't matter? And when I say it doesn't matter, I just simply mean that Jeff was either going to kill himself or be killed. He was so destructive. He was so self-loathing. As beautiful as he was, I loved him. He was such a good man, so funny and fun and trying. But he just could not do the work and the forgiveness and the release to move on. So he was stuck. And finally, after 64 years, he couldn't take it anymore. And yeah. So that's, when I thought about this week, I thought, do I share this? Because I know a lot of you are struggling. You look at your dream, you think of all the sacrifices, you think of all the mountain you have to scale. But what's worse? Knowing what you're here to put on this earth to do and not go after it? I think that is. What's worse is settling in your heart and having a life of regret. What's worse is not loving your job and not living your life's purpose. I was living and have been living my life's purpose for 31 years. And it was a tough mirror for Jeff to be around. It inspired him, but it bummed him out huge. I'm not the cause of his death, but it was a mirror that it was hard to look at. I know that for a fact. So, hold the mirror up. Wherever you are in this dream. I know this newsletter goes out to people with established careers, both as actors. Again, this goes out to all kinds of people, mostly people in this industry. But lots of people who just, for whatever reason, enjoy hearing what we're sharing and want to be a part of it. And so, regardless of what your dream is, all the great teachers, at least the ones I admire, say the same thing as to why we're here. And that's why that Vincent Van Gogh quote is on front and center at our website. Your job is not your job. Your job is to figure out what you've been put on this earth to do, and then go after it with such passion and integrity that it becomes spiritual and calling. That is you can put that on my tombstone. That's what I believe with all my heart, and that's what I hope for you. Okay?